G'day, welcome back to Brooksy's Car Restorations. Today, and we're going to both try something neither of us have ever done before, and we're going to see if we can't restore this bumper with a little bit of
Patch it up anyway.
yeah. So a brand new bumper for this thing, and I probably think we're just bodging this up, but a brand new bumper for this thing is going to be $1,000, and I haven't found anything cheaper, and I couldn't find a good second-hand one. So we're going to try a few things and see if we can't patch the bumper up in order to get it through rego.
Just to get through it.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not willing to pay $1,000. If I have to, I will, but I'm not willing to pay $1,000 for a new bumper. So I've had an idea of using a bit of spray foam, maybe some body filler, hoping for the best. And we'll walk you through the journey and see how we go. At the moment we're tapping up all the bits and pieces so that the spray foam doesn't come shooting out potentially of the different holes in that. Just trying to make it look as neat as possible. Yeah, anyways, we'll get back to it in a minute. Oh, here we go. It's up in here first.
Yeah. Slow down, slow down. Just do it in bits. Put it upside down, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Slow down. It feels a lot bigger than what it looks. It's not going to stick that. You push it on it.
Yeah.
Push it on it and make it stick.
Do you want me to push it in?
You needed a primer or something there, it's not sticking.
We'll work it out. Fun. Alrighty, so a bit unsure about this product we bought. It's not really doing how we expected it to. We're used to a different, or our ideals were of a different product. This one may do the job, it may not. The stuff I was thinking of is an orange colour though.
And it expands more. This is more.
Yeah.
It comes out of that size, and
That's not
really
called expander foam.
It's
No, it is a biz
Oh,
expander
yeah.
foam, but well, it's a different brand that we're used to using too. This isn't. Dad said he uses a certain brand, and this.
Yeah, this wasn't. I couldn't find the brand I normally use. Anyway.
But we're using the cardboard to sort of help mould it and keep it in place.
See how it goes.
We'll go grab some lunch and give it a little minute to harden and come back and check it out.
Yep.
So just an update. It's somewhat firm. I'm not ready to cut into it or do anything. It's about an hour or 2 hours later since we did it. It's puffed up. It's expanded hugely. We're thinking we might just let it sit a day. Hit it first thing tomorrow morning and just to make sure it's properly dry before we mess around with it too much. So I'll probably get back onto it tomorrow. I'd hate to start cutting into it and it'll still be a bit raw in the middle and what have you. Look, there's a fish hook down there. Don't want that getting in one of the tyres. So yeah, probably get back onto it tomorrow with the old man and young man, sorry. And yeah, but so far so good. Pretty happy with the way it's sort of expanding out and filling up the bumper. So fingers crossed, everything is good tomorrow. Back at it the next morning. The foam's well and truly set, hard as. Now we're going to peel back the, what do you call it, the stuff we got cardboard and start chopping it up to size.
One of the tools.
Hopefully.
See what we can do.
And yeah, we'll see how it goes, see how we go.
Did you start it yet?
Yeah, it's alright. You know, you can take it off.
Yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with so far. Hello. I'll put that over my face and pretend to be a walrus or something. I don't know. Hold upside down like a tin beard. It's getting a bit more shaped now. But obviously need a lot of fine tuning with sanding and this and that and whatever else. Alright, starting to take shape now. Starting to look a bit more like a what do you call it? Bumper? Bit more like ice sculpting than it is car work. Yeah, I can away at the foam. Probably more solid than the original bumper. The old plastic one was getting a bit sort of brittle. Oops. Alright. We've got the I've got it to a point where we're somewhat happy with it. Oops. Camera's rolling around. We're just going to hand sand it now, get it a lot smoother. Just finished cutting the groove into it. Hopefully it'll hopefully we can keep the groove and not mess it up too much. So, but yeah, it's looking a lot more like a bumper now. Apart from all the little holes, which will eventually maybe hopefully get some body flange, smooth it out. It's not going to be perfect like I said before, but it's enough to get us just past Rego, and hopefully, not recommending this to anyone obviously, but you know, if you can't, it's still better than spending $1,000 on something maybe, potentially. We'll see though. It's like I said, it's an experiment.
They didn't knock the structural integrity of the bumper bar for Rego. All they said was that there was some sharp edges people might get cut on. So by filling that in and getting rid of the sharp edges, we've gotten rid of that hazard. So anyway, it might not look perfect, but we'll get it through Rego.
It might look perfect too. We never know. You're doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, no, it won't look perfect.
We'll see. Just finishing the first layer of icing on the cake. The grooves so far so good.
It's starting to go off too much.
It's alright. We'll come back, sand it, maybe do a second layer if we need to.
Yep.
Third layer maybe.
It's just to rough it in to get some gripping with it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But it's not bad. It's starting to look like a bumper again. So we'll let this harden and come back, play with it a bit more, do another layer if we need to, or two. But so far so good. There's a little bit of bubbling. I don't know if you can see it, but hopefully when we sand that it won't, well, it'll probably need refilling. Although, as you can see, the foam is so porous and holy, so may need some fiddling. Anyways, I'll be back in 45 to an hour or so. You want a mask? You want a mask?
I do have one that's actually blown away fairly quickly.
Don't know how well you can see this, but this is the product before the paint. I think it looks rough in the video, but it's not actually that rough. It's very smooth. But I guess we'll see after we put some prime over it and see. It'll show up all the imperfections, anyways.
Cracked right here.
Yeah, I know. It'll show the imperfections.
Yeah.
But a lot better than it did look.
Oh yeah.
So far so good. So far success, guys. Yeah, only time will tell. Obviously, it's not a permanent fix.
And we weren't aiming for perfection. We were just aiming for it to be tidy and to get rid of the sharp bits.
Yep. But you know, if it lasts the person 12 months or long enough to get a new bumper or whatever, then that's, you know, problem solved. So if I was keeping the car, I would have just replaced it or ended up putting a proper bull bar, winch bull bar or something on there. But now that I'm getting rid of the car, it's, you know, not trying to be cheap or anything. Well, I am a little bit, but I think it'll be good. Time will tell, I guess. Two-tone bumpers. Gotta love them. So we'll tape up this bit, do the black part, and then once all that's dry and good, we'll tape up the black part and do the other bit. Fun. Anyways. First coat. Obviously it's not going to be exactly the same colour as the bumper, due to the bumper being so faded and old. But looks better than grey. Try and blend it a bit better with the second coat. Or if I can't, I'll just end up painting the whole bloody bumper. We'll just see. So yeah. And then if I paint the bumper, I might as well do the side bits as well. This is still quite black, but the other plastic is very faded. Anyways. Can barely tell now that you know, we repaired it and whatnot, so somewhat happy. Check back soon when it's done or when we're up to the next parts. I almost did something really silly. The car's sold and I forgot to video the finishing product. So there it is. Turned out reasonably well. I could probably do with a little bit more clear coat or something. But I was trying to make it not look too shiny because the rest of the bumper's quite dull. So hopefully that'll flatten out a bit eventually. But not bad really, considering. Just a couple of fellas from nowhere just having a go. And the car's being sold today, and I almost forgot to show the finishing product, which would have been bad for YouTube and all the rest of it. So that's the end of it. That's the finished product, and we'll see you around, old girl. Back today, doing some work on the Mini, or as my son calls it, Mini Vroom. Hey Dad.
Oh, yeah.
I made some space for you on the concrete if you want to nose it in there. It's up to you.
Nose downhill's better because it puts the blocks up the front of it.
Righto. It's up to you. So he's going to be doing a bit of a service on this thing, doing oil changes and filters and what have you, and I'll be doing the gearbox, diff and engine on the CRV. Just hang out and play with cars.
Aye.
And then later on we'll take this thing out for a bit of a strap or something when we go and have some lunch or whatever. Hard life, but someone's got to do it. What are we looking for?
I just seen at the bottom radiator there, fix up.
Such a tiny little radiator.
It's really hot too because I've had it running for a while.
Yeah.
It'll keep it circulating a bit.
But the radiators on this always side mounted.
Yeah. Pulls the cool air in through your wheel arch and through some vents inside your wheel arch and through the radiator that way. So the cooling for the engine, some comes through here and blows over the engine, but the cooling for the radiator comes through you go. Oh yeah.
Alright, let's get to work so we can get some lunch. Sorry. Is it the diff's back in here, and there's two like holes, one at the bottom and one up midway up on this side, and they're got a square hole in the middle of it, which means I've got to stick my
3/8 drive socket bar with it. That would be them.
Alright.
That one in the bottom is definitely a drain.
Oops.
And the one halfway up should be your fill. Yeah.
I was
there's
videotaping nothing just then.
There's none on the other side.
So I haven't looked on the other side though, but that looks like the drain and the fill holes there
Yeah,
for the
the
diff.
drain's definitely one in the bottom. The fill's usually halfway up. That looks like them. Just make sure there's none on the other side, but that should be them.
That's supposed to be the fuel tank.
I'd say so.
Why does it feel like it's empty? It's half full. Yep. Okay, ready? If this takes another litre, I'm gonna laugh. Oh, there she goes. You can switch it off now.
The way the radiator looks is pretty terrible.
Yeah, but we're talking about oil, not radiator.
Yeah, if they haven't looked after the radiator, they probably haven't looked after the oil either.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm going to do a bit of an oil flush.
Just put half of this in.
Put half of that in. Let it run for a good amount of time.
15 minutes.
And then if you're not a Mini person, you've actually got to take out the front grille to get at the filter.
You don't have to, but it's a lot easier.
Well, is it going to come out through the bottom? Because I don't think there's much space between the engine and the
Probably not.
cross member.
Right, that's about half.
So then we'll take all that off and drain it. And
Yep.
Bob's your auntie, or cross-dressing sister-in-law.
Bobby's my cross-dressing sister on a Saturday night. Yeah.
Don't trust standing in front of the cars, you're going to run over. Look at that, straight over. That made the engine sound a bit smoother. A little bit of ticking before.
That's a gearbox.
The gearbox is ticking.
Put on the clutch and stop it.
Okay. Yeah, so what, like a loose throw bearing or something? What a beautiful interior, eh?
Yeah, I've got to glue that down.
I thought it was proper wood grain. It looks like it. Alright, he's emptying the Mini. Is that all shed in, or is it still coming out?
Oh, look at the metal on the stick.
Oh dear.
Well, there's a washer.
That's not good.
Isn't that good?
That's not good.
I haven't seen much worse than that. Well, I know the engine's on the way out. The engine was the only thing that wasn't rebuilt on this car when I bought it. And my aim is to put a warm 1275 in it at some point. So
The bottom of the engine's really dirty
we'll
too.
just keep this. Look at the sludge.
It's leaking a lot.
We'll keep this going. Look at the metal.
Do you get much on your? Do you get
See
much
the
in
metal?
the? Yeah.
Wow,
Do you get much on your garage floor? Much oil from it?
not much. No.
Okay, because it looks like it's dripping from the salt.
Yeah. Oh. British cars, mate.
Yeah, well,
You pour oil on
old
the
cars
top.
in general.
Pour oil on the top. They runs out the bottom.
Old cars in general.
Yeah. Wow, there's
My
some metal on
V-dub's
that.
got a leak, slow leak. It's not British.
Mm. True.
Although my TR7 didn't really leak and it's British.
Mm.
British.
True.
It's like my British accent.
I do like your British accent.
You like
mate.
my British
Probably
accent?
sounds like it's got your British accent. Sounds like it's got an Aussie accent. Hey, mate.
It's a very rough British accent. The Bronx of London, if they have a Bronx. So is that just a screw-on filter like most filters?
It's a paper element filter.
Yeah, does it screw on and screw off, but
The canister does, yeah, and then you put a paper element in it, and then you screw it back on again.
sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, so like my Beamer, it had the plastic cover and then the filter inside, and you get a thing under the cover and undo the cover. There's a thing at the bottom of it. Is that how it works, or
Yeah.
is there something down here?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's a bolt at the bottom.
Undo
Yeah.
the bolt, take the cover off, put the new filter in, so I'll put the cover back on, take off on there.
Yep. Cool.
One thing I'm not too stressed about with those shavings, that they were long, skinny slithers,
Yeah, right.
and because the gearbox oil and the engine oil are the same, they could be just a result of someone grinding gears and knocking the tips off the teeth of the gearbox. And they could be just not what you want to see in your gearbox either, but it's a non-synchro first. So someone could have been and just knocked a few chips off, and that would explain those longer slithers sitting on the magnet. that come out of the
Yeah, and
gearbox.
for those of you that don't know much about Minis, the engine and gearbox actually shares the same oil, which is something I only just found out today.
Gearbox
It's
sits
very,
under
very interesting. So it all takes the same oil.
the gearbox bolts up under the engine, and it basically forms a sump.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, were Minis the only cars that did that?
No.
Because I've never heard of that before.
Minis are one
Every single car I've ever
Minis
done.
are one of the first in an endeavour to make everything smaller. They just Bolted the gearbox under the engine and.
It'd make better sense though if everything uses the same oil. It'd make things a lot easier. Obviously, it didn't work. Otherwise, they would have continued doing it.
Modern cars do.
Share engine and
most East-West engines have the gearbox on the end.
yeah, but they're different oil.
Yeah, true.
Well, although most of the East-West engines I've done have been automatic, not manual,
Yeah,
and automatic gear oil is way different, so it doesn't. So we've reached a bit of a standstill with both the cars. We got the wrong filter. I have the wrong oil filter for the Mini, and I'm not doing an engine oil change on. I'm not doing any more oil changes on the CRV until I found a massive oil leak in the CRV. So yeah, got to change all that first and find out. Well, wash that down, find out where the oil leak's coming from. Do some sort of a gasket change on that. And fix up the oil leak before I put new oil in it. And yeah, and Dad's Mini it's got the wrong oil filter, so maybe tomorrow we'll get a new oil filter for it. Tomorrow we're going to Brisbane, getting a new car to the channel, doing a hunt, and like I promised before, it's a classic car, so we'll get another fun and have another classic car on the channel. So tomorrow's video will be super exciting. So yeah, I'll be potentially putting out 2 videos this week, because I'll be playing with the new car tomorrow, and maybe on Friday as well. Yeah, it's exciting. I love my classic cars, and I want to get more of them. So, anyways, to be continued.